Welcome to the Backlot 605 podcast. My name is Casey Kelderman.
I'm Brian Mensing.
And today we are joined on this special interview episode of the podcast by Mark Christopher Lawrence. You might know him from such TV shows as Big Mike and Chuck.
Yep.
Or films such as Terminator 2, Pursuit of Happyness. He is an actor, comedian, all-around funny man. Mark, thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. The reason we bring you on is because you're going to have a little connection here to us in South Dakota. You're going to be at Boss's Comedy Club here in Sioux Falls, South Dakota on Saturday, February 29th at the Boss's Comedy Club. As I said, that is on Minnesota Avenue here in Sioux Falls, South Dakota for our listeners. And we want to talk to you about your stand-up career first. I think we want to jump into that because I've always had a fascination with stand-up. Can you tell us about the origins of that for you? What was it that made you want to become a stand-up comedian?
Well, I don't know that you choose comedy. I think comedy sort of chooses you. I was in high school in the 11th grade and was dared to go on stage at the Comedy Store. So a friend of mine, and I went over there and signed up for potluck, as they call it, the open mic. And I got on stage. I didn't even know how to set up an act at the time. I just got on stage as a teenager, talked about my day and got laughs. And I came off stage and Louis Anderson said to me, "Hey, you got something there, kid. Keep writing." I was like, "Keep writing? Did I write something?"
Hey,
so that was the beginning for me.
I was gonna say, I'm thinking, Louis Anderson. I mean, that's a pretty good, confidence booster, if you would ask me. I mean, if that was me, considering Louis Anderson at the time, is a big thing.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he was on fire then.
Was along with that, so you said you started as a teenager, was like acting the kind of the route you wanted to go, or was it just kind of you fell into both stand-up and acting together?
Well, I'll tell you, I had a teacher in the 10th grade, Mrs. Schilling. I grew up in Compton, California. And so Mrs. Schilling was my English teacher. And I was also in her speech class. So she got me involved in speech and debate, and she got me involved in theater. I did one play in high school and ended up with a scholarship to USC for speech and debate. And while I was there, I took a voice class and ended up getting talked into auditioning for the acting program at USC. And that's where the acting came from. I went to USC on speech and debate scholarship. I was going to be a lawyer. And one thing led to another. And next thing you know, it's 33 years later, I'm a professional actor.
That's quite the career, the career change right there.
I've heard the random few people where it's like, they go for like the lawyer, the doctor, and anything like that, and just that's where they thought they were going to go, and then just all of a sudden, life takes you where you didn't know you wanted to be, and like you said, 33 years later, you're right where you want to be.
Right. Well, I always say that God puts you where He needs you. Because I there were a couple of times where I felt like, it was really slow. I need to go maybe back to law school or go do something else. And the door tends to slam shut in my face. And then all of a sudden, here's an acting gig, which kickstarts me again. And it's been like that over my career. There's been times where things are slow and all of a sudden I just explode and do a lot of stuff for a good little run. So I'm still at it.
Yeah, and you're still doing something very, very unique, I think, in the stand-up realm, is that all your work is all clean comedy. It's all clean jokes, family friendly. Is that something that you've developed since your early teenage years, where you've always wanted to keep it that way?
Well, in the 11th grade, I mean, I couldn't really go out and do comedy and be dirty because it would have got back to my mom. I can hear some of those old ladies going, "Girl, Mark Christopher, he's on stage and he's saying all kind of filthy things. You need to talk to him." And my mother would have lost her mind.
So we got to thank your mom for that, then.
Yeah.
I think a lot of us have to agree with that.
I think what he's saying is that if he would have been a dirty comic, he would not have been in the comedy for 33 years. It would have been like 3 because she would have killed him by then.
Exactly. Yeah, I grew up in Compton. I was more afraid of my mother than I was of the gang. She said, "I'm your gang leader."
I have a feeling that's a few people out of California, though.
Now,
Probably.
when you look at one of the things I've always wondered when it comes to stand up and it's coming up with these new jokes. Is it something that you like? What is your process coming up with a new joke? Is it something that you try out with friends and family first, or you bring it on stage one night and kind of tweak it and change it as you go?
Well, what I do is if I'm going to put something new in, I'll do it when I'm headlining, and I'll stick it in somewhere in my act. I'll bury it between two jokes that I know work.
Makes sense.
So that I don't have a big block of boo.
Since you brought that up, I want to ask you a question then about because one of the things you always hear about with stand-up comics is the dreaded bomb or the silence, the crickets in the crowd. Can you tell us a little, like one of the times that it just hit you the most, where it's just silence and you had to figure out what to do next time that you went up on stage?
Well, on this tour, we're in Kelowna, and the first half of the show, the way this show is structured that we're doing, there's two comics on it, and it's a date night tour, so we're doing a game show in the middle. So one of us will do 20 minutes up front, and then the next guy will do like 10 or 5, and then play the game, and then do another 5, and then there's an intermission, and then you come back and you both do another set. And so the first half of the show, the audience was so tight, and I came off stage and I'm playing with Andy Beningo right now, and he's coming out. He goes, "How was it?" And I said, "Not good." It was just really tight. So at intermission, I was dreading going back on. He was like, "Look, let's just go out there and we'll just turn it on for the second act." And then the second act, it was awesome. But definitely had to tweak it up. I think I thought in terms of being a little louder and a little bit more energy, and made it work. But first act was tight. But I mean, so I don't really count that as a bomb because we got them. But years ago, I was doing a show in Long Beach at a place called Birdland West, and the audience they let in. It was a competition. They let the audience in at 4:30 for happy hour, because they told them at the semifinals, if you come to happy hour, you get into the show for free. The show started at 9:00.
Oh,
so
wow.
we get there, people are just lit, just obliterated, and nobody is getting laughs. And I'm 8th on the show, and the guy who I think is the funniest guy on the show, about 2 minutes into his act, goes to his best joke and crickets.
Oh, wow.
And there's a lady in the audience who was waiting for a joke to bomb, and then she would laugh at you. So I go up, we all have 7 minutes, I get into my act, every joke, nothing, and this lady is dying. And in that 7 minutes, I probably did 25 minutes worth of jokes.
Don't give her a chance.
And just trying something. And all the comments that come out, all the comments are going, "Man, you are a pro."
All right, so you've had the opportunity of working with some of the big stars and directors in the last 30 years. What would you say that you've taken away from those experiences?
Every time it's different. Every director has his way or her way of working. Every star, has their thing. I just prepare the way I prepare, and I go in and I try to engulf myself in the character and do what I do. I think I like working with Rusty Cundiff a lot. Rusty wrote and directed a lot of the Dave Chappelle sketches. Mm-hmm. And we did a movie called Fear of a Black Hat together, and Tales from the Hood. And Rusty just kind of trusts what I do, and so he just kind of lets me go. And so I really like working with him. But then some directors want to see it the way they see it. And James Cameron was very meticulous about the way he worked. He was like, I want to see this, and this. I want to see it this way. He's got all these cameras out, and every once in a while he would say to me, "Hey, what would you say right here?" And I'd give him something. He'd go, yeah, come on. So in Terminator 2, I was supposed to work 2 days. I had 2 lines and ended up working for 6 weeks.
Oh, nice.
because James liked me.
Have you noticed that since you're both stand-up comedian and an actor, what is the biggest difference that you've found between the two? Because with a film, you're working with a director and sometimes hundreds of other people. Stand-up, it's pretty much you and yourself.
Well, I like live better than film and TV. I mean, clearly the money from film and TV is awesome.
Yeah.
But stand-up, you're affecting people right now. I like doing stage plays. I try to do at least one play a year where, and I usually pick a dramatic play just because I'm doing stand-up all the time. I think I'm a better dramatic actor than I am a comedic actor, because I work harder at it. There's something about being able to affect people in real time. With stand-up, if you suck right now. You go up there, you tell a joke, and you get nothing the whole time. Then okay, I got to go and work on it. With a play, you're either making people cry, or you're making them laugh, or you're making them feel something that they feel connected to you and to the process and to the work itself. And people come up to you after a play, either still crying or still laughing or whatever. And that's fantastic. With film and TV, you got to wait for the editors and the director to put their final cuts in and hope it works out for you. Mm-hmm. Like in Pursuit of Happyness, my big scene in there where Will comes to get the money from me and I don't have it. My best take was the second take, but they went with Will's best take.
Sure.
So you have no control over that. As a comic, you have control over everything you say and do.
Yeah, I think that's because, like what you said, you get the live reaction, the real-time reaction. With a film, you're waiting 2 years before anyone else sees this movie that can give you an actual reaction to that sometimes.
Well, not today. Today, they're shooting on digital, so those things are coming out awfully fast. And I shot a film in June for the Oprah Winfrey Network. It was called A One Fine Christmas. And it was playing in November.
Oh wow,
that's a quick turnaround.
It's not the same anymore.
Yeah, I mean years ago, it was usually like at least a year to get through post production and marketing and all that before they put it out. But now it's happening immediately.
All right, I know we got to segue into something Brian really wants to talk to you about. Like I said at the top, he's a big fan of the show Chuck, and I know he has a question for you on that.
Well, I certainly do, because yes, I was a fan from the very, very beginning. It's not very often you get the nerd culture sprayed all over the TV at the time. I know Zachary Levi has been championing this for at least for a while or whatnot. And I know the fans want it. I know that it's something that I've wanted. If they were ever to actually get that movie off the ground, would that be something that you would entertain coming back for a reunion with all those cast members?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Chuck, I think, was probably, although I've been in a lot of sitcoms and stuff over the years, Chuck was clearly the longest run I've had on the show. And the cast was amazing. I mean, we were a big cast. We had 10 people in the cast, and we were still very close. And it was a lot of fun to be on set. I worked years ago on the set of Designing Women, and I just wanted to get my money and go home because they had all this tension, in that small cast. And it's like with us, it's like every day was fun. It's like you go to work, you're excited to go because you're having a good time.
Nice. And honestly, I do think that almost family feeling of the cast members definitely did show through in the show as well. Because I mean, even during the shortened season and whatnot and everything, the fans have still been clamoring. It's been off the air for shoot.
Yes, it's 2012.
Yeah, I was gonna say almost 10 years, 8 years. And
yeah,
I know myself as a fan of Chuck. And honestly, when your name even came across that you were coming to Sioux Falls, that was immediately the first thing I went to. It was like, we get to see Big Mike. I was overjoyed by that. And I do certainly appreciate, as a fan of the show and as a fan of you in the show, I'm so glad that you took the opportunity to speak with us today.
Oh, well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. I'll be sure to bring like some beanies with my face on it.
All right, Mark, thank you so much for doing this with you. I got one more question for you to leave off with. What is one piece of advice that you would give to someone out there listening that either wants to become an actor or wants to become a writer or a stand-up comedian? What is that piece of advice you'd give to them?
Stop wanting to become it and do it. You know, if you sit around and you want to become something, you will always want to become something. You have to get off your butt and do it. If you want to be a writer, start writing. If you want to be an actor, start acting. If you want to be a comic, start writing some jokes and get on stage. You know, you can't just wait for it to come to you. It's not gonna come to you. You gotta get up and make it happen.
Awesome. That is awesome advice. I love hearing
love it.
People that have broken into the industry and giving that awesome motivation. So thank you so much for that. One last thing. Where can people find you and your tour that you're going on right now?
I am easy to find. MarkChristopherLawrence.com. Social media, Mark Christopher Lawrence. Instagram, I post almost every day. Facebook, Mark Christopher Lawrence. You can Google Mark Christopher Lawrence. I'm easy to find. And I think links to all of my social media is on my website, MarkChristopherLawrence.com. The tour that I'm on right now, if folks are listening up in Canada, funandfaith.ca. You can hop on that and get tickets. We're selling out a lot of venues, so move fast.
All right, and then I will remind people one more time that Mark Christopher Lawrence will be here in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, Saturday, February 29th at Boss's Comedy Club, 8 to 10 p.m. Tickets are available online. We'll share a link to that in our podcast feed here. But Mark, thank you so much for joining us today. This was a pleasure to talk to you.
It's been amazing.
Thank you so much for having me, and I look forward to meeting you guys in person.
Absolutely.
I'll probably come in the day before, so maybe we can go and grab some lunch or something.
Yeah, let's do that. We'll be in touch.
I will definitely down for that.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Have a good day.